Good afternoon. It is June 9th, 2026. You're listening to a little column A, little column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? I sure hope that you are saving your money because, boy, do I have an opportunity for you. There is a finals item that is there's a basketball item that is very expensive going on right now. I know what you're probably thinking. Everybody knows that. It was the Game 3 last night. $10,000 just to get in, and then the tickets dropped, and then it was merely a $5,000 to get into the door in MSG. But no, there is something else that's for sale, and this is from the Eastern Conference Finals. They are selling the seat that Taylor Swift sat in courtside during that game. Do you have any interest?
No. Who's your source on this?
You haven't even heard how much it is.
No, I haven't heard anything about this, and you were going to be my source on this? Who told you this? Who are you following that is reporting this on your sports page?
You don't need to. Come on. The whole thing of this podcast is no follow-up questions like that. It doesn't matter where I got this from. I found it. It was on the internet, and the bidding started at $100. And when ESPN posted it about 5 days ago, it was at $800. Would there be any price that you'd be interested in this share?
Any price?
Any price.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool for any price, yeah. Even without the Taylor Swift thing, I think for any price. I'm getting a lot closer to that free price, but you know what I mean?
Like, courtside. It's still a chair.
Yeah.
It's a comfy chair. I mean, it's a foldable chair, so you can move it around. You could bring it with you places.
I know lots of Knicks fans.
You think the Knicks would want to have a Cavs seat that Taylor Swift sat in? I get they won, but...
Oh, well, I guess it wouldn't be that. I don't know. Who would it be? Who is Taylor's team? Is she not a Knicks fan?
I don't think so. She was at the Cavs game with
yeah, but I thought that was a Kelsey affiliation. Is that I don't know how that works. I don't need to know how that works. We've already gotten way too far into this. It's just a very expensive item, and it's just Taylor Swift?
The current bid, there's been 39 bids. The current bid is $6,500. There is still 5 days to go. It is therealist.com if anybody's interested in an expensive purchase.
That's crazy. Did you have problems with the price and the kind of scheduling of the game yesterday?
Didn't like the schedule that it took an extra day off. Would have loved a game on Sunday. They've been doing a really good job of alternating. Both the hockey and basketball have been on alternating nights, and to have nothing on Sunday just kind of felt like you gotta wait an extra day. But that's just nitpicky. As far as the prices are concerned, it doesn't surprise me. New York City, one, is expensive. They haven't made it to the finals in a quarter of a century. So two, and then even before that, it wasn't like they were on this run of, it's all the time. You have multiple generations. So if you're thinking about it as a per year price, if you've been putting your money away, this is the time. This is when you have to do it. I mean, you'd like to hope as an Knicks fan that this is the start of more runs. But if we've seen anything from recent NBA it is for sure not a guaranteed, whether it's trades, whether it's injuries, whether it's sickness. A lot of things can happen that this is the one chance that you get. Later in the summer, I'm going to see the Mets versus the Red Sox. Both the teams are bad. It's in New York City. So it's an expensive ticket. So to actually be there, as well as with it being New York City, with having Celebrity Row, there are just a ton of people that it's not even a basketball thing for them. It's you're caught up in the moment and there are celebrities there and people want to be where famous celebrities are. And so it's just a perfect storm. And so that's the price. If you're interested, that's where you got to pony up.
Is the NBA audience that wide that these people want to be in front of us? Is it mostly us watching, or is the audience larger than us? Like, who are they posing for is what I'm asking.
The celebrities?
Yeah, are they posing for us? A bunch of basketball nerds?
No. It's the finals. You're getting the most casual fans that you'll get all year. And I think of it like the Met Gala. There are pictures of you in the cool spot. And that's what you're able to show off and show off your power, where you hear the rumors and certain celebrities weren't able to get in. Certain celebrities pay for their tickets. Certain ones do not. And it's not just necessarily a matter of money and saying, hey, I'm willing to pay this. It's you have to have the correct power and the right cachet to be, I am on the wood at MSG.
Would you ever watch a game with sunglasses on indoors?
B, personally, no, but I can see as a celebrity going that route.
Interesting. All right, enough of that. We have a series. It's 2-1. None of the home teams have won. There's, I believe, a +7 score if you were to add up all the games here towards New York. I'd say that's a pretty tight series. It's not
Gotta
going
be more than that. It's got to be more than that because the Knicks won by 10 plus in the first game.
All right, bad math. Blame podcaster, not me. What's been the most surprising thing so far? That the home team can't win?
I think no. I think the most surprising has been how close the games have been. Everyone was a big fan of the Spurs Thunder series, where the first game was awesome and Game 7 was kind of intriguing, but the ones in between were not really that close. In all three of these games, they're all close. I just mentioned Game 1 ended up being the Knicks won by 10, but under a minute that was a one possession game, and then just with fouls, it went away in a hurry. But these were all close games. The Spurs have had double digit leads in all three, and I think it's come down to the Spurs are probably a slightly better team, but the Knicks are a much better closeout team, specifically with Brunson. So as a casual fan in this, neutral fan, it has been awesome that all of these games throughout, even when the Knicks have gone, or excuse me, when the Spurs have gone up by 10, yesterday they went up by 10. It's in the first quarter. You don't even bat an eye. Where I was feeling in the Spurs OKC and for sure in the Knicks matchups, it could be in the second, and now it's a 20-something point game, and it's for sure not all the way over, but there's a little bit of, I'm kind of checking out of this. But the no team has really gone up by a ton, and it seems like every time you get to a spot where you think, I think this team's in control right now, that is the exact moment the other team goes on a run, one of the stars has to sit, and you sit back and you just enjoy the ride.
There is a fear of don't get too comfortable and suddenly momentum changes the other way. It is a fun pendulum to watch, especially with no real team and, no real dog in the fight here. This is all I could ask for is a good game. Now, my biggest surprise of all of this is how it's been officiated. And it's not even the calls they missed or any of that. It's just how physical they've let the game play.
Well, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. I've watched basketball all year. I've watched a ton of NBA games. I've watched a ton of college games. These are some of the most physical games that I've seen. This is Big Ten basketball with NBA players. So you look at the score. It's not a rock fight, but the defense and just the way that the offense is playing, where it's just a lot of drive right to the hoop, right into the defender, and still trying to go up with it. I can't really compare this to anything that I've seen for sure this year, or even more recently. I don't know if it's because the biggest star is Wemby and he's young, so he doesn't necessarily get that superstar call, as well as he's probably not exactly smart enough. And maybe not smart enough isn't the right term, where it takes these guys a little bit to know exactly where do you put your arms through, where do you do this and that. But I saw at the beginning of the game, and it's been throughout the series, but by the end of the game yesterday, every possession before, it's not even in the post, it's at the top of the 3-point line, Wemby and Cat are just locked in a death grip. I've just never seen this for so many possessions, time after time after time. I get why they're doing it, especially if they're getting away with it. But the NBA for a long time now, in college, wasn't far behind, has this whole freedom of movement. If you have a guy locked up like you're about to wrestle him, that is not freedom of movement. So I don't think it's going to change. But it's just wild to see how much different this. It's the same sport, but how different this basketball looks than it did 2 months ago.
There's normally a little grabbing, little hand holding, I'll say, but physical holding is a foul. Like you can't hold somebody. You can, maybe be annoying. You could be a pest. You could do little grabs here and there, but you can't just hold on to anybody. The amount of times Wemby's about to go set a screen and somebody's just holding onto him and he's just playing through it. And I'm not shocked to see the physicality they were getting. I'm not shocked they're missing calls. I'm a little shocked they missed the Brunson physicality on Wemby, and I don't think that was a Wemby favoring thing. That was literally they just missed it. I don't know how they missed that, but that sort of stuff, if they're not letting everything go and if they're officiating a little bit tighter, there's no way they missed that. Like, is this good basketball? And I'm not sure which team this is actually benefiting either. Because the games have been tight.
I it's so funny because I feel like it's so rare that you could have both sides go to go to the tape and be able to pull out just a ton of, well, look at this that happened here, look at this that happened here. I think normally there's maybe a couple, or it really goes one way or the other. But I think both of these teams are willing to play this physical style, both on offense and defense. I feel like I'm not hearing or I'm not seeing a ton of complaining. Maybe they're on purpose as the broadcast not zooming in on it, where I think other times you would see just, I'm picking about, I could pick a lot of guys, but, only almost at random here, picking like Luka Doncic, where he doesn't like a call and you can see he's trailing the play, yelling at the referee. And so I'm not seeing that. Not that it's not happening. And so I think there might be going away from it. And probably some of it too is the Spurs are so young. They probably don't know what they can get away with, and just don't have those relationships just built up yet. But both sides are trying to find their spots. They're trying to, it's not exactly flopping, but trying to earn their calls in certain spots. Well, Brunson tried to embellish a call, and he definitely was on the ground for a while. And I was wondering, did he try to embellish it and then actually hurt himself, or is this just part of the embellishment afterwards? Because now there's this whole, you have to delay the game so your guy sitting in the second row has time to review the play to then decide if you want to challenge it or not.
What happened yesterday with the substitution? And I think Harper just jumped in the game because they were the Spurs were trying to get more time to look at a review. Harper,
So it was tough because you could tell what they were, or at least as a viewer, I could tell what they were doing, where they were delaying it. I could tell where the team was, where the Knicks were rushing it because they didn't want to give them time to have the review. But then they zoomed in, and maybe I just imagined it. I thought I heard the horn. The horn saying, "Hey, somebody's at the desk to get in," and so I think it 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 was just the referees just weren't all the way on top of it. I think there was a lot going on, and they just, I don't know which referee it was, but the one that handed it so they could pass it in just did it a smidge too early.
I think they should have been forced to do the substitution after that, whether they wanted to or not.
Oh, see, I thought that then they kind of almost got penalized for maybe not getting to the to the desk quick enough,
I,
and so that he couldn't come in.
well, I suppose there's two philosophies here. Do you think they actually wanted him to check in the game, or do you think they just wanted enough
No,
time so
no,
they
but
could get
this
the review?
so
So, like, that's what I mean.
they
They didn't actually want him
no,
to
but
go in. They should have forced him in.
they've been doing this for a couple of years now. Where who was it? Was it Charlotte, where they would just put a guy at the table,
Yeah.
and it's just like, to like almost always be ready if this came up, and then they I don't even know if they made an official rule, but it was just saying, hey, this is anti-competitive, but this has become the new norm of, it's a close play, you grab somebody off the bench, you it's well within your right, if there's a stoppage in play, you're able to sub a guy in. You could try, as the team that's getting the ball, to grab it quickly and pass it in beforehand. And Al Horford always loved to do that. There's some other guys that love to do that, but there's also a brief break where the coach, like I said, as a legitimate, I would like to sub in.
It seems fair, and it seems unfair. I understand the gamesmanship of it all. All right, let's talk about some of the more critical things in this game here. There's been leads blown. I don't think I'm very concerned by either of them. If these were the Celtics, though, I'd be really worried that every time we went up 10 that the Knicks were just immediately back in this. But I think that's just what a good matchup's going to be. These teams are going to go on runs. It's been cool that the runs have been countering each other, not just on top of one another, and you end up with 40-point games again. But if you're the Spurs, is this a confidence booster or discouraging, having the leads and then just always giving them up?
I I think unfortunately the results are going to decide how we think about this. If it continues of getting the lead and blowing the lead, then it's going to look at it as discouragement. But I think currently they should look at it as a positive of saying, hey, we have the recipe. We know what works, and we are able to get the bigger lead, and then need to make the decision on, how do you stop the ensuing run afterwards. I think a lot of times it's, Wemby is fresh. He's fresh in the first quarter. He's able to do his full alien stuff before you have Karl Anthony Towns just having you in a bear hug and just wearing you out for 30 minutes. And afterwards, when Wemby has to sit, I mean, I think you see it most with Jokic the past few years. When he sits, it's just the whole other team knows now is the time to attack as fast as possible. Let's see what we can do. And that's where I think the Knicks have been making most of their runs. And I think the Spurs just have to figure out, what do we do when Wemby isn't in there. They got real creative in the fourth quarter yesterday, where they just called strategic timeouts and challenges and were able to make it so he didn't have to come in. But I think they got to be better in the Cornet minutes, because I don't know. Maybe it's because he played on the Celtics, so just have seen him more. Where when Jokic went out, it was, hey, we just don't have the right guys. We just don't have enough guys. There were some injuries, but I felt like when we had Cornet in on the Celtics, it's for sure a drop off from the starters, but it's not a 5 alarm fire drop off like it seems to be currently.
I think once again it's just a bad matchup. I think Mitch Robinson is not the ideal guy. He's a little bit more athletic. He's also not the same guy you want to defend. There's nothing to chase out. There's nothing to close out. It's like pure muscle and hustle. So for Cornet, not that he can't also battle and shove and get physical with all this. I think he's a little bit more finesse and strategic with his defensive abilities, and it's just a bad matchup wasted on Mitch, who's just going to be charging at the rim. That you also want to intentionally foul, which is against Cornet in general. I don't think he wants to foul, to then have to be like, oh no, you're supposed to hammer this guy. I think that's against his general defensive advantages.
I wonder if Wemby is so good that it, in a way, hurts the rest of the team when he's not in, because you play defense a certain way for the majority of the game, knowing we got Wemby behind us, so we're able to do some things that most teams can't. And then when Cornet comes in, and Cornet comes in for such a limited amount of time, they aren't able to adjust. Where, say they were on, I'm going to call it a normal team with a normal center, then I don't think the drop off would be as vast, because you wouldn't have to change up your defensive strategy. I think these guards they're good defenders, but I think part of it is you're able to be more aggressive when you have someone batting cleanup behind you.
Wemby forcing everyone to do that Steve Nash dribble through is like my favorite thing ever. Watching like Shaman get through the pump fake, he drives to the baseline, and then he just sees him, and he's like, I'm just gonna dribble right through the baseline. We're not even gonna look at the rim. We're just gonna go right through. He's just shifting every offensive possession here. And now he is getting targeted, or at least forcing himself to be involved in every possession on defense. So like, I understand why he looks tired in the game. He plays hard defense. Defense is exhausting, especially with the way the Knicks are using up clock. They get good switches. The ball moves. It's multiple guys that are coming in faster and faster as they come off the bench. Nobody gets slower. It's a lot. It's a lot to worry about. And they're high chemistry right now. The end of the game is haunting when the Knicks are coming, though. I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if that's just a momentum of all of the games I've seen, and maybe this will even out in some way, but it just feels like at the end of the game, there's like a destined part of this New York Knicks team. It just feels inevitable. Even in the loss yesterday, it was like, here they come. It seems like they're going to go down to the last second. They get the OG hits the three, and it felt possible again. I don't know how you fix that. And if I'm the Spurs, that's my number one concern, is that this team at the end of the game is just going to have your way with them, and you have nothing you can do about it. What more could you do? Brunson's not even having a great series, and yet I feel like he's invincible at the end of the game. It's going to find a way.
I think it's a fair way to feel, because that's what he did last year, and that's what he's been doing throughout these playoffs. It's a lot. It's a lot of Brunson, and if this series goes longer, I just wonder if he's going to have the gas to continue. It sure seems like he's going to, but it seems like the weight is all falling on him, especially at the end of the games, and it's whether he can do it or not. And if I was the Spurs, I'm not saying to double team him, but there would definitely be trying to get it out of his hands. Don't leave guys all the way wide open. I know that's difficult if you're trying to get it out of their hands, but just forcing him to his right, forcing him into spots where he has got to pass it off to somebody else. I mean, just yesterday, Cat didn't have such a great game. Mitchell, or not Mitchell, Mikal Bridges really bad. And I just think if I especially you were down 2-0, you're gonna have to take some bigger swings. And the bigger swings is, you know what? Josh Hart, he did shoot well yesterday, but have some of these other guys and say, hey, all right, now here's the crunch time. Mikal, you figure it out.
Do you really feel like the Knicks offense has struggled? Like, do you not like what they've done? I liked what they do at the end of the game. At least if I'm the other team, I'm fearful. I'm on the edge of my seat, just waiting for something to happen. And yet, Towns has not taken one shot in the fourth quarter.
That's because Brunson takes all of them.
Well, do we have a problem with that? I mean, I feel like we're saying the stat as if it's a problem. It's not actually a problem, right? Like, isn't that the news of this? Is that it's okay that Towns doesn't need to take any shots in the fourth quarter? We like what we're doing. That's fine.
I guess this is what it comes down to. Is Brunson this all-time clutch player that is always going to come through, or does it turn into, hey, there's a little bit of hero ball, and other teams have dealt with it where you just don't want the guy going one-on-one. You would like some sort of offense, but sometimes you don't have that luxury. It's just a kind of 1v1, and let's see what happens.
There's a lot of good players in the series. It's the finals. There should be. There's one player that's impressed me the most, and it's not Wemby. But I'll ask you, who's been the most impressive player in the series so far for you?
Brunson. He just the way he just continues to down the stretch. He doesn't make everything, but no player really makes everything. Jordan didn't make everything, but still makes the. How in the world did he get to his left hand again and get to the hoop, even though Wemby is on the floor? So I'm still stick with Brunson.
The Brunson reliability is just a comfort no other player really gives you. I don't know how, but you just feel like it's going to get done. But the most impressive player to me has been Dylan Harper. There's so many fearless big moments again and again. It's these dunks, these attacks, these threes where it feels like the entire season's about to end, and this 19-year-old is going to save us. And doing it to the point where I think now at the end of the game, he has to really be involved, or at least on the floor. He can't be an afterthought. I am so impressed. I'm so impressed with him. I just fearless, completely fearless out there at 19, looking like he belongs. And where do we go from here? This is only going to get bigger and stronger and probably a better shooter. Very, very impressive. Is that my crazy for finding him as the most impressive candidate for the finals so far?
I'm gonna nitpick a little bit. Didn't shoot well yesterday as well, but no turnovers yesterday, and that has been a problem. But like you said, he's 19. Any 19-year-old you throw out there is going to have problems in the finals, especially with how physical this is of turnovers and making mistakes. I think my personal gripe with Dylan Harper is that his hairstyle looks too much like Devin Vassell's, and I get him confused when I'm watching the game.
Another good player. Does home court even matter? Is anyone going to win at home?
Oh, for sure.
Well, you picked the Spurs to win this series. They're down 2-1 right now. How many games do we have left in this series now? Do we get an update?
Well, I had Spurs in 5, and so that one's mathematically impossible. So I'll just stick with it, and I'll go Spurs in 6 now.
Oh, you're sticking with the Spurs. You think they figured this out?
I don't know if they figured it out, but I just think all these games are going to be close, and for sure they could have just. They already got the crappy end of the stick and didn't get the luck to go their way. Game 2 where Wemby's trying to push the ball and just throws it off of the guy where you're supposed to. It's a tie game with 9 seconds of someone is getting a shot off with a chance to win this, and worst case going to overtime, and then absolute meltdown. Big mistake, but he's a young guy. So just thinking, if all these games are close, I would like to think that the Spurs are going to be able to figure this out and close some of these games. And the Brunson clutch situation is he can do it sometimes, but can't do it all the time.
In this world, the Spurs are going to win in New York City.
They just did it yesterday.
They're gonna hoist the trophy in Madison Square Garden. All right.
No. Well, yeah. No, yeah. I guess I win 6. Yep.
That's just putting that out there. All right. That's a choice. I have the Knicks in 7. I'm going to stick with the Knicks in 7.
I don't think that any of the Spurs, they're professionals. So they go in through a different door and they're, got their own situation. They're the players. They're going to be fine. What you got to be concerned about is the Spurs fans, because it seems like they can't walk around New York City. Got a whole bunch of arrests yesterday. The Knicks, their fans, they got to get their act together. This is ridiculous.
It's a terrible reputation to have. I think we routinely in big media say that these are some of the best fans in the world. That's a terrible attitude to have. Just talk about like act like you've been there before, and you just can't. It's a bad look. We don't need it. We managed to get through this every year without this sort of stuff.
I think this probably happens to some degree, but if everybody is going to have a camera, and this wasn't a isolated incident, there were multiple videos of this going, multiple arrests. There was the incident last year where there was the video with the Pacers fan, and it's still sports, guys. We're still all Americans. We got this World Cup thing coming up. We can't just all be all the way divided. There's a fun trash talk you can go to, and then there's just like a certain line you can't go past. You can't be beating up the other fans. You just can't do that. It's not fun for anybody.
They're the same fan you are, of just a different team. You would never want that to be like your situation. Like, just flip it around. It's not that hard. It's too much. It's too much. The watch parties look great. I'm happy to have the hype around NBA. It seems like everybody's into it, and I'm into it. I want more games. I want 7. I'd like to see the Knicks. I don't know if I'd like to see them win, but I'd just like to see more games. I'd like watching this team.
Do you think are the watch parties here to stay? I feel like I don't remember the watch parties like for like forever. It seems like it's more recent. Definitely, I want to say it was Toronto that they were the ones that kind of started this, and that was right outside the stadium. It's definitely in maybe post-COVID been very popular to have watch parties in the arena, in the arena of the team that's not playing. But do you think it's more of a Knicks thing that they are having offsite watch parties, like multiple watch parties, or is this something that we're going to see over and over again? Of there are a ton of people that either can't afford or can't get into a game, but still want to be part of the excitement, that are congregating in a bigger area than just at a bar.
Well, it's up to your opinion of, do you think all professional sports have outpriced the average American, or just the New York Knicks prices have, but it's complicated, because then you're still in New York, and I understand it's expensive, but you wouldn't be in New York if you weren't also doing a little bit. Like, it's complicated. I don't think there's a real winner in all of it. I think having more options to people to watch this is better than not having it. And I think being able to watch it in a group for, I assume, a way more affordable price of your comfort of a bar and a TV is as close as you're going to get to some of these Knicks games. I mean, that just wasn't approachable. I don't think the average person could do it without selling, I don't know, a kidney, a home, a car. Like, what it's big money. That's not what a finals ticket should be, or at least
what should a final ticket be?
I guess there is a ton of money. Also, do you think the players should get anything out of all that either? Huge ticket prices. Owner, all going to the owner. Owner just paid for the whole season in one night.
Well, you have to remember the highest numbers that you were seeing. That's not MSG. That's third party.
I imagine even from the MSG pricing, though, it was higher than usual.
For sure.
And they still made
and Dolan's going to come and say, "Hey, do you know where my arena is? It's in Midtown Manhattan. Do you know what the taxes are on that? Do you know how expensive it is to maintain this, to to pay workers?" That's going to be the other side of it. But the players are already getting finals cuts for this. I think you're going to make things way more complicated if you're trying to pay them more for this, where then you're going to have the Wizards. So does Trae Young get paid less because his team's tanking and he's not playing?
Well, that's certainly a complicated way to approach that, but that's
while
we're on the topic of stadiums here, we have the Duke University game being moved to a baseball stadium. We also have the Bears.
I'm so upset.
The Bears becoming the Indiana Bears. No, they will be Chicago Bears that just play in Indiana. It's only 30 minutes away. The problem is that we granted this sort of silly allowance too many times, and I'm not sure if we should just rename teams or how we get out of all this, but the fact that we allowed both New York City teams to play in New Jersey and continue to be called the New York Jets and the New York Giants, there's far more than all that. Was the San Francisco 49ers were in Oakland forever. There's a lot more silliness in all of this, but this seems like something, if you could avoid doing it, you would try to avoid doing it. Like this should be the last resort of moving your team out of your state. Like I this would crush me. Like if we moved the Patriots to Hartford, which was also on the table, I think that would also crush me. Is it
That one's different, and that, at least to me, is different from the Golden State situation, where Warriors moved from Oakland into San Francisco, but they're the Golden State Warriors. They weren't the Oakland Warriors, where it's not the Boston Patriots, it's the New England Patriots. So Hartford is still very much in New England. So that wouldn't bother me nearly as much as this situation of, I get it's only a half an hour away, but I mean, how many of us learned our geography based off of sports teams? So now you're going to have the Chicago Bears, who do not play in Chicago. They play in a different state, a different city, a different state.
now the Knicks? There were stories of them canceling the watch party outside the arena prior to the Trump thing and all of that. I think even just a series where the Knicks haven't had a lot of games, so like this isn't really a story until now they're having more games again, and they're like, well, why can't we do the watch party outside of all this? I think part of the reason you can't do it is that it's on top of a massive transportation center of Penn Station, and it's just a lot of people all at once. I think that's part of the issue of it all. I understand the stadium not being in a convenient spot for the Bears, or not really being able to find somewhere else, but I mean, if certain teams are willing to be in the center of Manhattan on top of Penn Station and still being able to do all this, why can't the Bears find a stadium over there? Like it seems like you should be able to put up with something. I know nothing's gonna be perfect, and this might be the easiest way and cheapest way or whatever way, but like you're checking off too many boxes that shouldn't be okay to be checked off. Like this needs to be in Chicago or at least Illinois. We couldn't go the other direction. I mean, there's nowhere
I
else.
I think this was a situation exactly what you're saying, that I think the Bears side thought, oh well, they're not going to really force us to do this. Like that'd be ridiculous. Like we're going to be fine. Okay, we'll entertain the idea. But now this train is in motion, and I think it's going to be tough to turn it around.
It really is, because all the other proposals are going to be like, we're going to put it on Penn Station sort of things. It's like, that's going to be crazy. It's like, well, yeah, that's what's going to take to keep them here. But I'm just shocked that they didn't want to push through with all that and just make that happen. Should they change?
Once again, argument between $1 billion league, $1 billion owners, and the fans are the ones that are going to lose.
All right, you want to get mad about the Duke
Just
game?
right when the Bears started to get good again.
Yeah, they're going to get a new stadium.
They're going to have to. That's the whole point. That's why they're moving.
All right, you're upset that the Duke game, college game, also got moved from MSG to a baseball stadium. We're doing Miami.
Miami, yes.
What's wrong with that? You don't like that? That's not accessible. It's just not in New York. If it was that Yankee Stadium, would it be okay?
I guess that would be closer. I guess the temperature wise, that'd be a little more difficult. I believe in Miami, because it's Florida, it rains every day, so they have a cover on it. So okay, you're playing a basketball game in a baseball stadium, which is really just going to be a big dome. I don't get this. It was announced it was going to be at MSG. It was going to be right before Christmas. Awesome. This happens all the time. I was going to get to go to the game. Played Michigan last year. One of Michigan's 3 losses. Future national champions. So rematch situation. Awesome. Then it comes out it's getting moved to a baseball stadium. After the words find out it's because of, which I had to have read this article like 3 times, and I don't understand all the legalness of how this works. Of, oh well, the Big Ten doesn't like that one of their teams is playing not on their network in New York, but since it's in Florida, then it's okay. I guess because Rutgers is in the Big Ten and Rutgers is in New Jersey, and a lot of people don't realize that New Jersey and New York are just next to each other, not the same place. So that was, but okay, fine. That's what you're gonna do. All right, whatever. You're moving it to a baseball stadium. It's a basketball game. Just put it in a basketball stadium. I get we did it for the Final Four. kind of the whole MSG thing we just talked about. This way you can get the most amount of fans in there. You know, it holds more people. I guess fine. I don't really love it, but I guess I can kind of follow along with this. But this is not what you should be doing with arguably one of the top matchups for next year. I mean, the whole schedule isn't out yet, but I mean, you can go through it. Is there going to be a bigger game than this next year?
Yeah, because they're going to play in a basketball court. This can't be the biggest game.
No, I don't mean physically. I don't mean physically like there'll be like the most amount of fans. I mean on the schedule if you were to go through at the beginning of the year and point out because obviously we're not going to know tournament games, non-tournament games, and go look and go which ones are must watch. If this is not if this is not number one, this is going to be in the top 5.
That's
It was
probably fair.
Besides so again, taking out tournaments, or not any tournament, just March Madness, taking that out. The Duke-Michigan game last year was the most watched game that wasn't on Thanksgiving. And I think the Thanksgiving games, as much as I love college basketball, I think those were very much juked by playing after the football games and some sort of like these never got turned off because those two, another Duke game, were just way higher than kind of anything else. So I'm going to call this one the most watched regular season game last year, but still would still be in the, healthily in the top 5. I'm happy that the game is happening. It's just, why do you have to introduce this gimmick of having it in a baseball stadium that is not how it's suited? And this seems like what you would do for is still premier, not maybe on premier teams, but still Big 4 conference or Big 5 conference teams that need like a little bump. And so you're looking through and going, what am I going to watch tonight? It's like, oh, isn't there like a game in a baseball stadium? Oh, I'll check that out. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is interesting. Not like your biggest product of the year. It just seems like such a waste, such a circus. And then now afterwards, whichever team wins, I think there's going to be a little bit of, the sight lines. You ever tried to play basketball in a baseball stadium? Yeah, there was a weird draft in there and just, doesn't really count. And it's just going to turn into like this glorified scrimmage. And I think that's a real waste for the whole sport.
So they're doing more than one game there?
No, I think it's just one game.
Oh, so
for now.
So you're getting upset over one game? There's going to be
one of my games
out of all of the entire season. When do they start and when does it end? Past March, before March, you're going to be mad about one game being played outside? Is it your team? It's one game.
Yeah. Oh, this is how it starts, Will. If you don't take a stand for something, you fall for anything. I got to make a stand.
No, but you're not standing for anything. You're saying this is fine as long as it's just not my team.
I'm saying you don't want to do it with your premier products. If you can do it to help smaller programs, to elevate them so somebody will watch it that maybe they wouldn't have been interested in, that's what I'm trying to argue for the other side. If it was up to me, you would play all of the basketball games in basketball arenas. There are plenty of them. If they're playing it in Miami, I'm sure they could find a spot for it.
Hey, maybe this will help you.
Yeah, first option. Nobody plays in the baseball stadium. That's my first option. I'm trying to find middle ground here. I'm trying to be reasonable.
So last year, this one game was so important, and they did play it in a basketball stadium, and you guys won, and it meant nothing because the other team still won. So maybe this will still mean nothing. Well, this one game, it'll just be the next season's one game, and it also will just mean nothing because you're making a big deal out of nothing.
Well, it's not nothing, but if you're going to reduce all of that, then what are we doing for any of this? It's okay. Why am I watching any game between November and March? And for the NBA, it's like, okay, I guess I'll just show up in June. That sounds awful.
I think you just need some sunshine during the season. This is exactly what you need. Miami, the season sounds great. We're normally freezing at MSG. I don't see the downside of this. This is a unique opportunity. They'll be at MSG the next year. This isn't going to be.
They will also be at MSG this year.
We could do that too.
I want more games at MSG.
All right, more games at MSG.
It's a waste. It's a waste of a situation.
So you think there's no way they do this again the year after? Because this is a terrible idea.
No, I think that you have rich owners that are looking for, hey, how can we get people to come to our stadium when they normally wouldn't be coming to our stadium because there's no baseball in December?
I liked the cruise ship idea. There's no way that was a fair game to play on, but that was cool.
Well, was the cruise ship idea?
Didn't they play at a cruise ship one time? I feel like it was Michigan State. It was a preseason
Oh
expedition.
no, that they played on a battleship.
Okay, sorry. That sounds a lot more elaborate. Sure.
See, that was ridiculous, but at least there was a tie-in with the military, and it was for a good cause.
So there's no good cause in all of this. Just
And it was very. I don't think they ever did that again because it was so dangerous because of the moisture on the court.
there was wind. There was a definite eyesight battle of weird horizon seaness. Like that's
But this is why you don't put UNC versus Michigan State playing that game. You put a couple of schools that normally people wouldn't watch, and now they will watch.
I don't think so. I think you only come up with the idea
As long as it's safe. As long as it's safe.
You only come up with the idea. You only come up with the idea of Duke says yes. I don't think you could do this with any other team. That's the other advantage of putting Duke in this is that you can do whatever you want now. This could be a ton of support regardless.
I think it's a unfortunate money grab for the Florida coach and his buddy, who's the owner of the Marlins.
I have no argument against that. Let's talk about this college football scandal. Let's assume I know nothing because I really don't know anything about this. What's going on?
Okay, so I will. I'll read you in on it as they say. So, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby, he got caught. He got caught big time. So you know how in the NBA some guys have gotten caught and they're either very much out of the league or you have a Terry Rozier situation of he's not out of the league for sure, but it sure doesn't look good. So he was caught. He had gambled a lot. I'm trying to find the exact number here. Doesn't really matter. Thousands and thousands of times he had gambled on his own team. So there was no way. We're very much into the gambling era. There's no way in general you can go, oh, I didn't know. Even like you have your buddy do it. It's like they track everything. It's geolocated. They know exactly what's going on. They could track. They have all the stats. So he got caught big time. So then the NCAA said, "Hey, you're out. You can't play in the NCAA anymore." Well, pre-COVID, that would have been, "Hey, you're all the way done." Well, we are in the new NIL era. He goes to the court, and this was this week, and the court said, "All right, we'll do an injunction because they're doing an investigation to through the courts to find out." Even though the NCAA said, "Hey, you're guilty," he hasn't been fully found guilty, in a court of law. So the court said, well, you can play until your court date. So now this guy got caught red-handed gambling, and now he's going to get to play this year. He gets suspended for 2 games, but then he's going to get to play. I think his judge date is in February, but it's not a good precedent to send that you can break one of like the really bad rules where you bet on your own team, constantly gambling, and you still could just go to a judge and get him to let you play.
Would you want him as a teammate?
Well, I mean, he's pretty decent quarterback. And I think if you're gambling this much, like you're actively breaking the rules, I just have to imagine there's other stuff going on. You're just not in control, and that would be a risk.
You said he's decent. Now, is there a career beyond this? You think is he draft eligible?
That I don't know.
Because this is
I don't know.
This is pretty scarring for draft eligibility, if you ask me. But even between us, it's tough to make decisions. We could talk about the NBA draft right now. There's lots of nitpicking between these two guys are both really good. What do you not like about one? Well, you know what? How about gambling on your own team? That doesn't sound great. It just doesn't. It seems like we're treating this as if he got away with something, and in some ways he did. But I would have a stink about this in the locker room with a teammate. Would you not? As the quarterback?
That's where I don't think it's necessarily the gambling on your team specifically, just well, if you don't have this under control, just how are you going to be able to focus on what's going to be important to focus on? If you're an NFL quarterback, I just don't think you have a lot of time for extracurricular activities.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. It's a little discouraging, though, that you go to the courts and you'd hope to get a consistent ruling, and instead you're getting a longer process of inconsistency. That's frustrating. All right, it's FIFA World Cup time, Zach. You made it. This is it. We're going to close it out. Just a little volley back and forth here. Gentle football talk. Nothing crazy, all right? We're hosting.
Soccer. It's soccer. We're in America.
We're one of the
Don't
three.
get it's gonna be confusing for our American audience because there's a much more popular sport in America that's called football. So I don't want them to get confused.
There are some weather elements between the three host countries. Is this actually a story, or are people just realizing that there's complicated weather out here? That it's full seasons. It's hot, it's humid. Then the next day might be completely different than that. Is it not like this everywhere else? Do people actually enjoy going outside?
I was pretty shocked by this. As you could imagine, I am finding out a lot about this in preparation for this podcast that doesn't normally, get pushed to me. So, yeah, one of the new rules is there's going to be hydration breaks each half. There will be 3 minutes allowed in each half around the 22-minute mark for hydration break due to extreme temperatures in the host countries. I did not realize I lived in a place that had extreme temperatures, and it has been kind of funny where the teams are coming in from all over the world and kind of where they're getting sent in the country. So they're kind of getting sent all over. And I get it. I get it. If you're from some of the northern European countries, ooh, okay, you go to Mexico, you go to California, yeah, that's probably hotter than you're used to. But I mean, I'm not all the way, South American, world traveler here, but I have to imagine some of these other countries are used to it being very hot. And I I just had no idea that there were never like I thought they were trained for this. Of yeah, well, you're playing soccer, you're playing outside, it's gonna be hot, and I didn't realize that they're gonna interact with these. Having these hydration breaks. If this is a safety issue, all right, that seems good. I mean, basketball that's played indoors, AC, the whole thing. There's lots of water breaks. I'm on board with that. I'll be interested to see if this is will they stop the clock during this, or is this during the mystery portion of the game? So that's just I don't know how that'll operate.
Well, you mentioned some rule changes. Did anything catch your attention with that?
I went through the list and all of it seemed to try to prevent. I'm going to call it like in the flopping trickeration area. So I was pretty much on board with all of it, where it was saying if a player leaves the pitch because he's complaining, so you're trying to delay the game, boom, you're in trouble. If you're going for I think a goal kick or a corner kick, you have like 5 minutes, or I think if it's starting to take a while, the referee can kind of start doing a 5 second clock hand thing. So that all seemed cool. The one that I thought was kind of I get what they're trying to do with it, but I think is kind of silly. Is you're not allowed to cover your mouth. Any player who covers their mouth with a hand, arm, or shirt during a confrontation with an opponent will be punished with a red card. And if I'm not mistaken, a red card means you're kicked out. So if I am super famous and I want to say something to you and I cover my mouth because I don't want the camera to pick it up, that means an immediate ejection.
Only in
They're coming up.
confrontation. Only in confrontation.
Only in confrontation, which the referee gets to decide, and we've been through this before. Of there's one, and a soccer field is, I mean, basically, I think it's a little bit bigger, but kind of generally the same size as a football field. So imagine this guy, he's at midfield, and you're having a conversation, more towards the 10-yard line, and he gets to decide from way over there. Assuming he speaks the language, are you and I, like right now, are we having a confrontation or are we just having a conversation? And what bumps it to that level that you are just going to immediately eject me? So the whole thought process behind this is to stop potential racist comments. So I guess good on them. You ended racism right here. But I think this just opens the door for just a wild situation where it is a sporting event. A guy is going to be heated. He is going to say something, or he's going to be wiping his mouth, or whether it's intentional, not intentional, he's going to get kicked out. And this is going to be like a huge scandal in, Western Europe somewhere.
It'll probably never happen. They'll probably never use this rule. I think the knowledge of being able to identify confrontation will be pretty easy. I don't think it'll be misidentified as easily as you think it will be. So I think you'll know whether or not they're joking or whether or not they're not joking. And so I'm not really against all that. What I took away from all these rules, though, were, as you said, these are fairly like, oh, yeah, of course we should have, a time clock on all of the time wasting abilities of all of this. And so, like, if anything, it was more alarming that these weren't like previously rules. Like they should have always had this 10-second sub thing of like, all right, you got 10 seconds to get off, or and if you don't get off, you're like a man down for a minute. Then, like, I like that. Stop waste all these time wasting things. Let's try to pick up on it now. The video assistant, they gave it some more strength and some more abilities to review some stuff and to use it to basically do better accounting, which is another crazy thing of like, oh yeah, if a yellow card is misassigned, we can recorrect it. It's like, how is a yellow card getting misassigned in the FIFA World Cup? Like that shouldn't be happening at all anyway. So yeah, I suppose that is a good rule of giving it the ability to correct these sort of things. I was again just I guess more alarmed that they didn't already have this sort of rules and that I know we're doing our best to follow them, but hopefully this just gets a better product because I'd like to see less time wasting as well. I know it's your biggest issue with all of it is guys are just on the ground the whole time.
No, it's not my biggest issue. It's just one of many issues.
What are the other issues?
Oh, that you just hang out for 2 hours and maybe you see a couple of goals and then, all right, cool, you guys tied. Glad I watched that conflict. Hope no one know you covered your mouths and said anything mean.
So the crowds aren't cool. The atmosphere is not good. There's no good fan experience. This is nothing like a college tournament with a single elimination sort of thing. There's nothing
It's not single elimination. There's like a whole bunch of games.
in the group play. I believe then there's a bracket. You've heard of those
Yeah,
before?
like a 2.5 weeks from now.
Oh, so can't be excited for that now. Are you excited for March this year, or we got to wait till March?
Very excited.
Oh,
Can't wait till March.
we can wait. You know, it's not for
See,
months
Will,
from now.
you're mentioning all the things, like you're mentioning all this structure. You see, with college basketball, the crucial part of it is the basketball part of it. Versus this, they call it the World Cup, but they're playing soccer for every single game. They're not playing any of the other sports. I'm sure that the crowds are going to be crazy. I guess that would be the comparison, and definitely something that I don't understand as much, and they wouldn't understand as much about for college basketball. Just knowing certain rivalries, and that's going to be fun for other people. And I mean, I'll try to kind of get into it, but unfortunately, it seems like when it's country related, it's it's not necessarily coming from a place of fun. It's, hey, we are still kind of bitter that you guys tried to take us over, 100 years ago or 200 years ago, and we're kind of making fun of it right now. But also, we'll fight over this, and because this is our whole heritage.
Yeah, it's important to a lot of countries and a lot of people. I guess I'll stop trying to make it important to you. It's fine. The U.S. will probably finish last in their group. We'll wrap this up. We won't even have to do a bracket for you. You don't need to fill it out if they don't advance.
I heard there's hope. I guess maybe even a little better than hope that we're going to make it out of our region or of our group play. I think they usually make the group play a little easier for the host country, so that'll be interesting. Here's my problem with the schedule. Have you looked at the schedule?
No.
Not at all. It starts on Thursday, man.
What am I readjusting things? I'm going to be watching. I'm available.
Okay. Are you available all the time?
I'm going to have to be. It's on all the time.
So here are my two things on this. Is bizarrely on Thursday, there are two games. One of the games is at 3:00 and the other one's at 10:00. Friday, we're gonna run that back. Oh, excuse me. We're gonna do a 3:00 and a 9:00. All right. Interesting. Saturday makes a little more sense. Then they kind of have them spaced out, but I think it's like a little too much of you're going to have a game at 3, that's going to go 2 hours, and the next game's not till 6. So then you have an hour of downtime. That is just the opportunity for people to walk away and do something else. I mean, when you have the basketball playoff lineup, you want it as close as possible, or just maybe just a smidge overlapping. It seems like they're not going for that. Another thing that's weird is I'm not gonna go through every day, but just some of this. On that Saturday, that's the first game that's gonna be at Foxborough, Haiti versus Scotland. It's at 9:00 at night. Why are we they're playing all over the place. Why are we playing the East Coast game at 9:00 at night? I don't get it. I guess maybe to stay out of the extreme temperatures. Oh, let's not get too crazy here. But so yeah, so 2, 4. So there's only 7 games in the first 3 days. You get to Sunday. Hope you're ready to stay up on Saturday. because we have games that are kicking off at midnight. I get we are not the only ones in the world, but we are hosting it. This one is, in Canada. It's in Vancouver, so that's really, 9 p.m. So like, all right, cool. That's still, late, but for the West Coast, but bizarre. I think they got to do it more March Madness style. You want to do what the comparisons would be. Why are we why are we not playing 15 games on opening day? Let's pack these together. I want to be watching multiple games. I want quad box. Nope. These are all individual. All right, let me watch this one for a while. I think it's going to wear me out.
It was going to wear you out regardless. I'm with you, though. They could have grouped it together. I think there's certainly an element of being able to watch multiple of these at once that's not going to be happening. The late night start, though, doesn't bother me because there's when they play in any other country, it's never a convenient watch for anyone. When the Olympics are happening and everything's live at midnight.
It's convenient for? It's convenient for the people whose country it's in.
I still find this mostly convenient for us, though. This is more convenient than it's been in other countries where it starts in the middle of the night or in the morning, or you're just watching reruns at the main hour. Like that's not the same.
Then I have a much better excuse to just avoid it. That'd be great.
I also think this is just an East Coast person crying about the West Coast again here. All right, it's just you make it sound like it's a foreign time. It's LA time. It's not any different.
What was the last major event that started at midnight Eastern time?
Well, the game's not. It's not on the East Coast. It's starting at 9 p.m. You're just using your time zone preference.
No, that's what I'm saying. What last major event was played in Western time, or Western, that started at 9 p.m. their time? Was one of the finals games that late? Was one of the Western Conference Finals games that late?
Football games, the second Monday night game's always that late. Second Monday night's even later.
Midnight. No, it is not.
The NBC late game this year was at 11.
11. That's an hour before midnight.
You would still be complaining about it, though. Like it's still. It's. Not...
I am noticing quirks in the schedule. I looked it up ahead of time. I'm mostly focused on United States versus Paraguay. That's going to be 9:00 on Friday. So everybody can stay up for that one. No school on Saturday, and root on the boys.
Anything else? Any group winners?
I couldn't find good odds for that on FanDuel. I don't know if they're not allowed or if what the situation was. No, I was putting my money on USA minus 105 in that game that I just mentioned. But for the whole thing, I think France is gonna win the whole thing. I think I got three of the best players in the world, so they're gonna bring it home.
Massachusetts is allowing bars to be open till 3 a.m. so you can watch the games at the bars that start at midnight.
I guess cool. Like it's normally 2:00. Okay, they're gonna be an extra hour, but I still don't really get it because the game is it's the latest games start at midnight. There's like 6 of them, and so those are going to be over by 2. But it's like, all right, cool. Make some more money. But for this just to be surrounded by the soccer part of it, it just I don't know. I feel like it's really been all over the headlines for something that it's not going to impact me.
New York has been 4 a.m. for the longest time.
Yeah.
So the most of the country's 1. So some places are 2. Normally the places that are 2, it's generally not the whole town is 2. It's just a couple of places are 2. So allowing everything to 3, I don't know. Not against it.
That's sure.
Watch
knock
your
yourself
games.
Out.
It's not what I'm going to be doing. That's not where I want to be.
Uber home.
Too late. All right, I'm playing the outro music. You're talking about exhausted. No more football talk. We're done. Not till next week.
Soccer. It's soccer talk.
Make sure you subscribe. Little column A, little column B, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked Z Man 24.
Anything else for the people out there, Zach?
Yes, basketball. Ryan Martin from Maine. He just broke the record for most NBA three-pointers made in 24 hours. Care to venture a guess on how many he made?
I was more impressed in the 24-hour approach of it than the actual number. I forgot the number. But he shot like every 7 seconds or something, right? Like
crazy, yes. He made 11,115 NBA distance three-pointers in 24 hours, broke the previous record by 412. Just the endurance of that, very impressive. Shout out to Ryan Martin, who goes by Dr. Buckets.
Yeah, he won't have a problem staying up for that midnight start. He'll be fine. He can do it. Perseverance. I'm just gonna play this out. We're done. No more soccer talk. Complete sabotage. I'm booking Nate next week. All right, I'm gonna do it. We'll be back.
Little column A, little column B.